Sorry?
Is it blasphemous for those images to be shown?
I am not talking about blasphemy here. You are.
I
I'm
am
saying
talking
something
to you about the reason that
my
the cinema
reason, no,
in
my
Bolton.
reason, Nigel.
If you want to
my
just
reason,
talk through and not answer the question, then I'm afraid you look to
my
everybody
reason is
doing
very
this right
simple.
now
You've invited
as
me to
somebody
give
who
you
is
my
not
reason. My
prepared
reason
to
is,
face up to the
if
challenge.
somebody
I will
who's
repeat finally and for the last time that a cinema in Bolton and other branches around the country has closed because there were people outside protesting loudly with placards, and perhaps it was felt in a threatening way to staff and people who wanted to go and see this film, who were saying openly and clearly that it was blasphemous for images of the Prophet, or indeed his daughter Fatima, to be shown in a British cinema. Now, I am not suggesting that is the view of all Muslim people living in Britain, but I'm asking you, do you think that is blasphemous?
I'm saying something very simple. I'm not interested in blasphemy. I don't think blasphemy exists within Islam. That's my view, very simply.
Well, what do you say then? Well, what do you say
Nigel,
then?
you've asked me a question. Give me the chance to answer.
So you've said no. You've said no, and I accept your answer of no. So what do you say to your fellow religionists who think it is blasphemy?
Is stoking up sectarian attention, and it sounds like you're relishing it.
I tell you what, I am going to ask.
In our country. Did you know,
I'm going to ask the executive producer of the film, but I will put
the most negative way possible.
His charges to you. No, you don't want to have a debate. You want to avoid debate, and I'm very sorry. I've given you the opportunity. You want to talk about the Holocaust and many other things. And I think, in the interest of open debate on GB News, we will choose to end the interview here and now. Thank you very much.
Very honest with you. On the matter of Sheikh Al-Habib, the writer of The Lady of Heaven, he's a very well-known cleric with a large following across the globe. And he's a historian, he's a researcher into Islamic history, and he's put forward this narrative, as being the writer of this film, he's put forward the narrative of Lady Fatima. The film, what it is, Nigel, this film is the life story of Lady Fatima, peace be upon her. She's a beloved figure to all Muslims across the world. We spent 1 year in pre-production going through the historical text with the guidance of His Eminence Sheikh Al-Habib as a historian to depict her life. That's all it is. These claims of it being blasphemy because of showing the Prophet, that's just nonsense. There's two reasons why that's nonsense, actually. First reason is that this whole topic of showing the Prophet is a contested issue across the Muslim world. Wherever you go, every corner of the Muslim world, you'll find a different understanding and interpretation. In many places in the Middle East, you'll find artistic endeavors of portraying the Prophet. So it's not as black and white as these pro-Taliban, pro-ISIS groups have made it out to be and bullied the world to believe. It's not the truth. And from our side, from our perspective, it's very normal to portray the Prophet as long as you portray him in a proper manner.
But Malik, as a British Muslim, Malik, you understand that British culture is that all criticisms and all religious leaders are open to question, open to mockery. You know how things work. What is it? What is it that has made what is it that has made people in Bolton and elsewhere go and protest in the street against this film? I mean, are we dealing with a form of Islamic extremism here? Is that what we're fighting?
So that's my point, Nigel. It's not actually about the depiction of the Prophet. They're using that. I mean, they are offended about that, but that's not actually the main issue. The main issue is that this history, doesn't claim, and we've never claimed, to try to portray a very over-romanticized, fluffed-up version of history. We're tackling history, particularly Islamic history, and myself being a Muslim and myself being from a Sunni background also, we're tackling Islamic history as it is. We want to discuss history openly and look back at what happened, because there is a narrative in this film, although it is about the lady primarily. It does tackle this issue of the roots of these terrorist groups. That's the truth. And these groups, if you actually go look around on the videos online spreading now, that are going viral, you'll find these groups. There's a lot of known names there that are known to be pro-Taliban, pro-ISIS. Even some of them holding up photos of ISIS members, well-known, famous ISIS heroes. So it's not a secret, and you can go on their platforms online. They're always posting about Taliban. So they don't want this history to be spoken about. They don't want this discussion.
No, and
what they're doing.
All historical films and interpretations will have differences. Hey, we question the Crown, and whether all of that's accurate, for goodness sake. Final thought, quick final thought. Will this film finish up being banned by all cinema chains in this country?
I mean, that's for them to decide. I say, firstly, thank you to the protesters because they've done a huge publicity stunt for us, and it's got the film to a much wider audience than we ever could. In terms of the cinemas, my message to the cinemas and to the British community as a whole is: do not cower down to these people. It's empty threats. They have no authority to dictate what we as British people can and cannot watch in the cinema. Anyone wants to disagree with the film, we're happy to discuss. We're happy for you to express yourself, but do so within the bounds of the law. Do so respectfully. Do not try to censor others from expressing their views, for or against. We have no issue.
I thank you very much indeed for coming on and joining this debate. And